We forget so often that we are just a small piece of what's going on in the world. You're just brought here to fulfill your journey, your quest. When you change someone's life, they go ahead and they feel more energized to change someone else's life, and it's the domino effect. Welcome back to another video. My name is Cinia if you're new here, and if you're not, welcome back. Today I want to talk about 5 identifying ways you know you are going through an identity shift. This has been on my heart recently. I'm currently 27 years old. I will be 28 next month. I'm so excited. Throughout my 20s, I have gone through so much evolving and trials and tribulations. I feel like I have finally been brought to the light of my 20s becoming fun again. With that being said, let's get right into it. The 5 identifying ways are: old habits and interests no longer feel fulfilling, craving alignment and authenticity, feeling uncomfortable or out of place, reassessing relationships, intense self-reflection. Old habits and interests no longer seem fulfilling to you. An example of old habits not feeling fulfilling to you would be you are no longer liking to go out to the club.
But in the club, we all fam.
And maybe you prefer a lounge if you're still wanting to go out, but you don't want to go out to the club. Certain outfits don't feel right anymore. Someone who's 28, I am going through a phase of changes of where I used to love crop top, and now I want to wear clothes. I want to wear a full shirt unless I'm doing something that I feel like the outfit called for a crop top. Or if you just feel the activities that you were getting into, you're just not into it. Or TV shows. Like all of a sudden, I was interested in suspense and thriller. I was never like that. I was always trying to watch a rom-com, live in a dreamy land, but now I love to be on the edge of my seat. Like, who is dying today? Was that a little bit too much? Okay, so let's move on. Those are some old things that you realize, okay, that's not fulfilling. Or even when you want to change your career path, say you're maybe in college or not in college, or you want to start a business or something, but then you realize this doesn't really align with me anymore. That's when you feel like you're going through an identity shift because you don't even feel like that is something that you want to get into. Moving on to the second identifier, which is craving alignment and authenticity. Okay, so that kind of jumps in with the fact of the point I just made with going to school, changing your major, or changing the kind of business you want to get into, is really wanting something that aligns with your new version of self and want something that is more authentic to you and not just this past version of yourself. So when you're in this stage, you are reassessing what really matters to you. You're trying to reassess your relationships, your career path, where you live. You're reassessing everything in this stage because to yourself, you will just be like,
do I really like that?
Do I really want to be here? Do I want some new energy in my life? Do I want new relationships in my life? What do I feel is authentic to me in this moment? Because you will start to have desires for things that you never did. It's kind of like when you were a kid, you maybe only ate chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, and you would never dare to eat a scallop. And then all of a sudden one day you try, and then you're like, I love scallops. I love escargot. You start to have this elevated palette of what you want to eat because your desires for just more is starting to come to the forefront.
Let me have a bottle of your best champagne and bring us some oysters.
If you are desiring scallops and escargot, baby, like you're just desiring luxury, so let's keep it going because that's where you need to be. Clearly, that's where the universe is calling you. Okay, also, you start to get rid of societal expectations and feeling like you need to do the status quo because that's what you've always been told, or you want to make sure that you're doing what your family wants you to do, or your parents, or some figure in your life, and you decide that you want to live for yourself. Moving on to the third thing, which is feeling uncomfortable or out of place. You realize you're in this stage when like maybe you're in like certain groups and you realize that like
I no longer have anything to say
because you would feel what they want to talk about and what you want to talk about are just not aligning, and your goals and their goals are not aligning, or you want to be around people who inspire you to do more and become your best self. Maybe you want friends that don't want to be at the club. You want friends that want to go on hikes. You're just going through an identity shift. Things are just different. Your lives aren't paralleling at that time, and maybe you find that you need to find someone who's a little bit more compatible with your life and journey at that time. It says here, discomfort can manifest as restlessness, confusion, or even sadness. That sentence in itself is so powerful when it comes to like self-identity. I felt just that. Last year, I kind of went ghost just because I did feel so restless. I didn't have the energy to even talk to anyone. I was just so laser focused on what I wanted to do. Oprah's quote, which is something that you want to do and go do it. That sounds just so simple, but in reality, it is that simple. Find what you want to do and go do it. You don't want to think too hard about what it is that you want to do. Obviously, you want to think about the decisions and think about how, whether or not that can affect you in a negative way or a positive way. You definitely want to do things that affect you in the positive way, but you don't want to sit too much in that thought period of thinking. That will get you stuck. The fourth thing is reassessing relationships. This one's kind of a given because that's usually when we are feeling a little off, but once you realize that you're not feeling aligned and you feel more like you are just evolving into your own best friend, which is so perfect in this stage of reassessing your relationships, is to really start to become your own best friend. And that's what builds confidence. That's really going to get you to the next level. I definitely went through a stage of reassessing my relationships, but they just kind of naturally shifted to where I was isolated from friends and family. And to be completely honest, it was the best thing for me. I just feel so 10 toes down in who I am and what I want to do. And now I know, although my friends and family are all in my life, I really trust myself and I am really more confident in who I am. So it is such a beautiful time, although it can be lonely and feeling just a little sad. But when you get to the end of it, it feels sweet, like a reward. It's great. Like petrichor. That's my favorite word these days is petrichor. It's my word of the year. Moving on to the fifth identifying reason, which is intense self-reflection. So this is when you're starting to look more deep within yourself. You're starting to maybe even have old thoughts about things that have happened in the past, starting to have a different perspective on your side of the story or just how you feel about the situation. Maybe you're letting go of old things because you realize having the anger is no longer serving you, and you just feel so much better to just go ahead and let that go than to even hold on to that. When you're going through this intense self-reflection, maybe you journal a lot, maybe you meditate a lot, you might throw yourself into painting if that's more your thing, or voice notes. Maybe you're searching out more self-help books and you're reading things that are really just opening in your mind that have you questioning who you are and who you want to be. And now you're starting to get more of an insight on where you want to go and the person that you've been, and whether or not you want to continue to be that person that you've been, or you just want to be a better version of that person that you are. A really good book I recommend if you are in this stage of self-reflection is the book Pieces Every Step by Thich Nhat Hanh. I might have butchered that, but I tried my best. This book is The Path of Mindfulness in Everyday Life. This book gives you examples on how you can meditate every single day of every minute of your day, and realizing that everything is cohesive really helps when you're in the stage of self-reflection and realizing who you are, because we forget so often that we are just a small piece of what's going on in the world. And when we realize that you're just brought here to fulfill your journey, your quest, and you're here to change lives, those lives that are around you. And when you change someone's life, they go ahead and they feel more energized to change someone else's life. And it's the domino effect. With that being said, you guys, that's all I have for today. I hope you really enjoyed this video. It was kind of an impromptu. It was definitely an impromptu. I love an impromptu video. But if you resonate with this video, please let me know like what stage in your identity shift that you are in. I would love to hear that. And if there's someone in your life that you feel like also resonates with this video, please go ahead and share that with them. And as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you next time.